Well, hello, everybody. This is Leonore from Too Punk to Be a Hippie, and I have a very special guest here today, which is somebody that I have known for a very, very, very long time. Your friend and mine, drummer extraordinaire, Andy Verdecchio. Hi, Andy.
Hello. Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm well.
Nice, nice. I wanted to have you on because, as you know, my podcast is called Too Punk to Be a Hippie. So
Hmm.
it's basically about healthy living, things that we can do to make life better for us and for the world. First of all, I just want to say you're someone that in my life makes the world better. And I wanted to talk first about how every time I've seen you through the years, you change your look.
Okay.
So what's up with that? I have pictures of you being goth, rockabilly, punk, dub kind of. What's the vibe now, and what were some of your favorite fashion moments?
It's not like it's never been like a conscious decision. It's just like, oh, I like the way that style looks, so I'm just going to, I don't know,
Try it out.
adapt it. Yeah. I don't really.
Don't really think, because
No.
I'm looking through the
No.
pictures all the time, and I'm like, sometimes you have cowboy hat or a pompadour or a kitty shirt or
Uh,
all
yeah.
kinds of
Yeah.
styles, dude.
So yeah, and that's been brought up in
Yeah,
many other interviews. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's not really.
it's not on purpose.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like reinvent myself or anything like
Hmm.
that. It's just
Yeah. So what kind of
in high
music?
school I was
Yeah,
super like gothy. Like
yeah.
we didn't call it goth back then. It was death rock. We call it death rock.
I
Yeah.
remember you like black nails, and you looked pretty
Yep.
tough and sinister almost.
I was I still always have been and still am to this day a big Sisters of Mercy fan. So
There you go.
like Andrew Rich, like the way his whole look was always like really cool to me. So
I also like the look where you sometimes you wear like more pegged pants and like Doc Martens and like the little hats. So almost like a two-tone ska look for a while. You
yeah.
doing any of that lately? Because the only
I
problem
mean
was, and
I
I was gonna say,
yeah.
when you wore those boots at the airport, dude, it took forever.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason why I stopped wearing those, is because, like, it's
Yeah.
because I ladder laced my boots, so
Hmm.
um, like that's taking them off is like a thing.
I
So
remember waiting for you, and all of us were like, "Oh,
yeah,
Andy's got his boots on for this trip."
yeah, 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 yeah. Now it's you know, Vans or low top cons that I could just slip on and off because I'm old and I'm not interested in the hassle anymore.
Right, right. I get you. I get you. So question, I wanted to know, well, this is what I was thinking about by having you on here.
Hmm.
I noticed a change in your lifestyle, a progression where you were very intentionally focusing on your own personal growth.
Hmm.
And some of the things that you've talked about in, conversations is everything from therapy to meditation to a sobriety. And I just wondered if you could tell a little bit of your story, particularly for me. I'm curious to know, in the beginning, what kind of caused you to even think about going on this journey?
A lot of it was sort of, I don't want to say forced into it, but the circumstances in my life sort of were making me second guess, like not second guess myself, but sort of take a critical look at myself and
Hmm.
examine who I was as a person and sort of, well, these are the things that I like about myself, and these are the things that I really don't like about myself. It's never too late to work on those things and change them. So I think when my dad died, that was maybe the catalyst,
Hmm. What year was
Uh,
that?
that was 2001.
Hmm.
That was right before 9/11.
Right,
It's like a couple
right.
months before. So that was sort of the catalyst for it. And, you know, trying to take an objective view of myself and the things that I believed and the things that I were critical of. And, I don't really know how to articulate it. It was,
Yeah.
I think my dad dying and then 9/11. 9/11 was like our Kennedy assassination, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
anyone that's a boomer can tell you where they were when Kennedy was assassinated. It was the same thing
Right.
for us with 9/11. Like that was
Hmm.
a huge, huge thing. And it was perpetrated by people that were, you know, religious. So I said, well, I'm a religious person. I need to take a critical look at myself and sort of, do I like the things that I believe? Can I change the things that I believe? So I did. I just, I said, I went through a long time trying to sort of prove to myself, and convince myself of the things that I was espousing and were important to me. And
Mhm.
a lot of those things, the harder I tried to convince myself, the less convinced I was. And if I was being
Mhm.
honest with myself and not fooling myself or kidding myself, I had to say, no, I don't like a lot of these things that I believe. I
Mhm.
think that they're toxic, and some of them are
Right.
just, for lack of a better terms, not a nice
Mhm.
way to be. Or another poignant point in my life, in this regard, was Ska Against Racism,
Yeah.
because I was on tour with these guys that I looked up to as musicians, and particularly Dan from MU through 30.
Mhm.
I was like, man, like that's the kind of person I want to be. Like,
You want to be like Dan? I can
yeah,
see that. You guys are both
he's a
super
really
funny. Yeah.
he's just a really nice and kind
Genuine.
person,
Yeah,
very genuine,
genuine.
and he's very
Mhm.
kind. And it
Mhm.
doesn't seem pretentious at all, like he's putting it
Mhm.
on. It's just the person that he is. And I think in my journey, I was a little bit pretentious in that way, because you kind of
Mhm.
have to be, because you're working on it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
eventually it becomes natural.
Yeah, but one of the interesting things to me, is that your best friend, I would say your best friend after watching your life for so long, is Brad from Five
Hmm.
Iron. And I
Brad and
just,
Reese are my best friends. Yeah.
yeah, Team One, I know.
Hmm.
They call themselves Team One. And Brad is like a spiritual person, a Christian
Hmm.
person.
Hmm.
Is that ever weird for you guys or not really?
No, it never comes
No.
up. We
Right.
just love each other. Just,
Yeah.
I love who he is as a person.
Mhm.
Religion never enters into it.
What is so good about you guys' friendship?
Oh, geez. I mean,
Right.
it just
You were hanging
feels,
out last night, right?
yeah, yeah. It just feels, it's just right. I mean, when we first started hanging out, like,
Your face.
so many years ago,
Yeah.
just hanging out with him, we just clicked.
Mhm.
We're very different people. And I think that's why we get along so well, because
Mhm.
he's very reserved and calm,
Mhm.
and he sort of balances me out in that
Right.
way. And I don't know, I just, we just get along really well. We have, similar taste in music, similar
Mhm.
taste in entertainment and stuff like that. And we're just enough different that it's not annoying. Have
Mhm.
you ever hung out
Yeah.
with somebody that is exactly like you, and it's like you
I
kind
don't
of
I don't
run out
like
of
people
things to
like
talk
me.
about right away?
Right.
Yeah.
No, actually, I like people like Brad because, like, my husband, Steven, is super chill, relaxed. He relaxes me. He
Hmm.
just makes me feel at ease. Even
Yeah.
Brad does. Like, Brad, for me, relaxes my energy, or Micah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm a pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
I don't like very intense people like me. They make me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a weird question.
Okay.
Your background is Italian.
Hmm.
Do you think that being Italian has any bearing on your energy level, like the intensity? I know it's a stereotype, and I feel the same as a Hispanic woman. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes, but like, do you think like the intensity or the passionate nature? Do you think any of that comes from your background or the way you were raised?
Maybe, but my dad was like Brad. Like, you could
Really?
not
Okay.
get him angry, and I tried.
Yeah,
So
you're the
it's
youngest of how many boys?
5.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 5, and like I said, my dad was really calm, and
Mm.
I got him angry at me a few times. I was
Mhm.
difficult, when I was younger. My mom was the one that was really intense. That
Mhm.
she always told us we were German. I did some research, and it turns out we're not German at all. We're English.
Well, there you go. Right, right.
So I should say it comes from my English side rather
Okay.
than my Italian side.
My mom always thought we were Native American, and I just did her 23andMe, and we're not. We're indigenous from Mexico and
Hmm.
from Spain, but she was like, "Ah, man," because she's always been told she was part Navajo. She's
Hmm.
not. She's not. You are what you are, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me a little bit about meditation, because that's something I've never done. I mean, I guess I should do it. It seems like something for my heightened energy that would be good, but I don't think it would come easy to me.
Meditation doesn't require as much discipline as I think most people would imagine it does.
Okay.
Because you can meditate doing a lot of different things. You don't
Oh,
have
so
to
you don't
like
just have to
go.
sit there
You don't have to
quiet?
go. Okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to put on,
Yoga pants?
or I'm going to put on like meditation, calming meditation music, or the sound of like a stream or a brook or anything like that. Like
Burning
for
sage?
me, burning sage. I mean, all these things, if they help you, that's
Mhm.
great. But like I said,
Yeah,
I
what do
mean,
you do?
playing the drums is meditation.
Oh.
It's a repeated movement
Mhm.
that, like for instance, when I'm on stage and everything disappears and
Mhm.
it's just me and my drums and I'm just in that place. That's the goal in meditation, is to get there.
Yeah.
And you can do that doing a lot of different things, drumming, like I said, is one of them. Sometimes I'll even just get my practice pad out and put
Mhm.
on, the click track and just do double strokes or whatever, or paradiddles, and just stay on it for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I just disappear.
Is that what you're
Um,
doing when we're backstage and you're getting ready and you have your practice pad and you're just like in the corner by yourself?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I've
it's
seen you
also
do that.
warming up my muscles, but
Yeah.
it's prepares me because going on stage is, for some people, is very stressful. For me, it can
Mhm.
be, but because I practice that,
Right.
I don't.
Right.
It doesn't really bother me as much as it might
Mhm.
some people.
Oh, I'm
So
just a brat. I love being on stage.
yeah, I
Being
really enjoy
I
it.
like it.
Yeah, it's when when we're playing live and we're just, we're locked together and we are just, that's when I'm most at peace
Mhm.
in my life.
Yeah.
Nothing matters at that point. It's, it's
Yeah.
just me and music. So,
I would say I agree. And that's why like it's so I don't know the word. I guess that's why I would say it's bigger than all of us, because the sum of I mean, I feel like all of us together are almost miraculous in
mhm.
what we can create without just doing it on our own, you know? Like why we need each other. Watch,
Oh,
we make each other crazy, but I feel like we need each other musically.
right.
Yeah, do you think like in the beginning when you were starting some of this health journey, like right after 9/11, that there was more of a stigma, especially for like punk rock or tough dudes to be focusing on their mental health?
Well, I think not necessarily in punk rock. I think it transcends all of that. The stigma of men. Holy
Hi,
cow!
kitty.
There's my cat. Good
That
boy.
is a very vocal cat,
Yeah,
Andy.
he is very vocal. All right.
He said bye. Or what do you think the stigma comes from as far as fixing our mental health or working on that?
Men
Men.
have had a hard time. It seems like it was more accepting of women to go to therapy and stuff like that, especially
Mhm,
being an Italian background and stuff like that. You're supposed to sort of just be tough,
mhm.
man up and deal with it. Don't show your emotions and stuff like that. And getting past that stigma was tough back then because it wasn't as accepted as it is now. Now that things, people are more
Mhm,
accepting of the idea of guy going to therapy and,
mhm,
taking medication and taking care of their mental health.
mhm.
You see a lot more guys going to therapy and being a
Yeah,
lot more open with that kind of stuff. So
right. I know
I
even when
had
I
to.
was
My life depended on it.
well, yeah. Well,
You
talk to
know.
me about that. Talk to me about why you feel your life depended. Were you like really in danger of hurting yourself or others or just zoning out or
Yeah, no, I was in danger of hurting myself. It was a pretty dark period, but there were a few times where, once when I was in high school, it's I actually wrote about it in one of the books that I released. And, in more recent times, I'd say, well, it was probably about 3-4 years ago. I spent a little time in a mental health facility because I was having some pretty significant trouble there. So yeah, I would say that my life depended on getting my mental health well, getting myself together. So
Yeah. And I would say you've always been an inspiration to me because, I mean, there are times when we get together and we are on tour and I have some margaritas and before I know it, I'm just a wreck. And I remember one time you very specifically, we went to lunch and you're like, are you okay? Do you need to chill? And I did need to chill because, being a mom to 2 little kids and then just going on tour was like stepping away from my life. And it was like stepping away to where it was like, man, this is fun. This is a party, but I'm a lightweight and I don't always pay attention. And so part of your journey that I've seen too is a sobriety journey. That's a new one in the last couple of years, right?
I've been sober for 5 years.
Oh, wow. That went fast. Wow.
Christmas Eve. And I had a real bad night,
I remember getting the text from you. Yep.
Yeah. My mom was really sick. Actually, no, this is after she passed away. I couldn't deal with it, because I'd already lost my dad. I lost my brother. And then my mom, I had a real bad night and I took a lot of pills and I drank a lot of whiskey and
wow.
Yeah, it was a rough night. And it's not like it was like, Mindy didn't give me like an ultimatum or anything like that. Like either you quit. We had a pretty frank discussion. She didn't even say that, you're an alcoholic or anything like that. She's just like, you need to get it together. And I realized, I needed to, for the sake of my family and that it was important. And I quit cold turkey that day. I haven't had another drink since.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you and I were part of the Fast Feeling. And I'll tell you in the beginning, when we were writing lyrics, you wrote some of the lyrics to a lot of the songs. Actually, people may not know this, but you were one of the main lyricists of that song, that band, Fast Feeling.
I helped out with some lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was cool. I just want to say, I thought it was awesome. It was weird for me to sing some of the thoughts that you had, like, especially like songs like Dangerous. But I think that it made the songs have just a different point of view.
Cool. Yeah. I enjoyed working on that project. That was a lot of fun. And it was a good distraction during that period because, that was when Mindy had, I don't know if you remember this, but Matt came out that day was when Mindy got her, my wife, Mindy got her cancer diagnosis.
Wow.
And so that was a struggle period. And it was really good to have that outlet and that, especially, that distraction is something I can put my energy into to just help me get through that period. And it's a healthy outlet too. So.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good season. And I'm happy to say, and you're probably happier to say, that Mindy is in big time remission. Is that how it works right now?
Yeah. She gets blood work done once a year now. So, but like we're past the point of, having to worry about it every 6 months or whatever. It's not a thing that we really agonize over anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love her salon, Olivet. Shout out to Olivet. And she's a salon owner, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, she's the strongest person I know. I'm completely enamored of her all the time, just because, I mean, she's so strong. She beat cancer. She started a business that is thriving, and she started it over the pandemic.
Right.
And she just pushed through it, kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and she still does. She's just.
Yep. And
she's a steamroller, man. She just keeps going.
Yeah.
She's so
and she
strong.
does it in a very effortless way. Like, she always just seems light and joyous and hospitable. And she's got a lot going on, but she doesn't seem stressed.
Yeah.
I like that about her. She's cool.
Yeah.
So what's going on new for you? Anything new, or what are you looking forward to in 2023?
I mean, I'm still writing. I just haven't been writing with the frequency that I have in the past. So, working with a new illustrator now.
Cool.
I don't know if you know Lowell Sipes.
That's your friend that did our shirt that has like us, like skeletons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
We're going to be working together on another collection of short stories and poetry. And he's going to be doing the art for that. But I'm lazy. So, it's taken some time to get there.
It's when you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I also wanted to say, one of my favorite memories of you that a lot of people might not know, but Andy and I used to be really good at swing dancing.
Man, I haven't danced in a long time.
No, but when we used to tour with the W's, you were kind of competitive about it. You used to make us practice perfectly, and we could do flips. We were pretty good.
Yeah, we were pretty good. Yeah.
We like to show off.
Yeah. It's fun. We'd go to the back by the sound booth and
practice, or even like outside, and we could hear the music and just practice.
Yeah. I wanted to be really good. Yeah.
We had to be good. You're not going to just jerk around and look like idiots. Any advice for people that are watching this that think, I know that I want to make the first step either towards a sobriety journey or a meditation journey or a therapy journey, but I'm not sure that it will benefit, or I'm not sure how to go about it, or I'm not sure what people will think. What would your advice be to people that are listening to this and feel that way?
Well, the first step obviously is being honest with yourself and admitting that there's a problem there, as far as getting sober, or maybe there is a problem and you just want to be healthier and eliminate things from your life that are unhealthy. The first step is just, the second you open your phone and you pull up Google and you start looking, that's the first step. So if you're already thinking about it, you've already made the first step. You're already mentally preparing yourself for the possibility of going sober. And then it all comes down to do what's effective for you. Like I didn't go the traditional route. I didn't do 12 steps or anything like that. I just quit and started going to therapy. But that might not be your path. Start looking up what might be helpful for you. Talk to your doctor. That's a big thing. I mean, make an appointment with your doctor and tell them, listen, I want to quit drinking. They'll put you in a direction. They'll put you in a good direction, at least to get you started. So as far as like, meditation and stuff like that, I mean, I feel like that's one of those things that's really beneficial to everyone. Some people are better at it than others. Some people have, a lot of busyness in their life. I'd say the more busy you are, the more critical it is to take that time and just be quiet. Yeah. I think in our society now, we have phones and stuff like that, and we're always on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever it is. It's almost like, oh, this is this distraction from myself. Right. Like I'm by myself. I'm at home. I'm by myself. Here, I need my distraction because I'm uncomfortable with
sitting in your own, and I'm in your own company. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of that too. I'm not comfortable with myself, but the only way to work through those things is to do it. You just sit there and, like sometimes I'll be angry and I'll go, what is making me angry? Why am I angry right now? What's the root of my anger? Well, this guy cut me off in traffic. Okay. But that's kind of silly thing to be, still angry about. So clearly there's something else going on. And that's an uncomfortable thing to think about because you're really sort of turning inward and analyzing your feelings and your thoughts. But doing that, it makes you a better person. And after a while, you really start to feel better about yourself.
Yeah. And then that confidence kind of just becomes a habit. You just stop being, you might still sometimes be a jerk, but you're not just only a jerk. Yeah. Like I had to do an anger management workbook once when my kids were little and I felt, it's one of those things where whatever your situation is, you're jealous of other people. Like they just go to work and I'm home with 2 kids, and I'm pissed because I'm like, I have laundry and I have exhaustion and I'm, nursing a baby and I'm, lonely. And it's like, I started getting angry and it was like going through a workbook just taught me, okay, your energy's up here, chill out. This is a season,
It's a good thing to compartmentalize all of that. Like, like what you're talking about. I used to have a wild temper being able to compartmentalize where that anger and frustration is coming from, break it down into tinier and tinier increments of, the bigger picture. It's makes it easier to chip away at it and
Right.
become relaxed and more, not as angry. And I mean, I just got tired of being angry all the time. I was always angry. Yeah. Like I was a really intense guy, and
Yeah, pretty intimidating.
yeah. And I don't like that. I never liked that when people would say that I'm intimidating. So I'm like, I don't want to be. I'm
Yeah. And for me, like when I would get angry, it was usually a lack of control, and it was the fear about not having control. And when you have little kids, you can't make them behave. You can't make them not be sick in the middle of the night. You'd have no control.
right.
And it was the first time in my life, it was like, I can't control the situation. Now I'm pissed because I'm actually afraid.
I feel like maybe a little bit of that comes from maybe some shame. Mine comes from shame. Mine comes from,
Yeah. When I would discipline in anger, it would be shame. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I went to a therapist and they said, because I remember disciplining in anger or really raising my voice or just scaring the kids, intimidating them. I realized I was in trouble when I wasn't telling Stephen about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he'd come home and I was like, the day was fine. And I'm like, way too much shame to say what had happened.
And the thing is you have to let yourself be a human being. What you're talking about, that sort of flying off the handle and getting really frustrated, that's what gave my son and I such a close relationship, because, I would get angry with him, and then I had to talk to him about it. Like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I got mad and yelled at you or whatever for something that was, rather innocuous or not that big of a deal,
Right.
and then just telling him, this comes from, this is why I behave this way, and I'm trying to get better. And through that, being just wide open and honest with him, now he knows he could come to me with the same issues or other issues, like that. This is how I feel, this is, I'm struggling with this or that. And I think, that openness opened the door to a lot of that.
And not very many fathers know how to do that. I mean, I don't want to say we, but in my family, it was, you didn't cry, like stop crying, just stop crying, behave and stop crying. And then the other one was, or if you're going to cry, go to your room. Like, we don't want to hear it. And then the other one was kind of like, just don't share a lot of your feelings. Just get over it. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of feeling talk.
Tough it out. Yeah.
Tough it out.
My dad just yelled at me and hit me.
Right. Yeah, we got spanked. At least my dad didn't. Well, I don't want to say at least. My dad wouldn't yell. His defense mechanism was the silent treatment, which is also hurtful, Yeah. Well, I loved having you on the podcast, and it was rad to have you here and talk about all the good stuff, and look forward to your poetry book and writing book coming out. Thank you so much for being one of my best friends in the whole world and for being on my podcast. Everybody say goodbye to Andy Verdecchio. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Leonora.